What if the giants never left? What if the mysterious figures known as the Nephilim, the giants of Genesis 6, are not just ancient history, but are still among us, in spirit or influence? Most Christians think the Nephilim were wiped out by the flood. Others have heard whispers that they return somehow, that they still affect our world in ways we cannot see, that they may even walk among us. In this video, we are going beyond the surface. We are going to separate what the Bible actually says from myths, midrash, and movies. We will ask what happened to the Nephilim after the flood, where they might be now, and why many in the modern church have forgotten the supernatural worldview the Bible assumes. Let us begin where it all started, in Genesis. Who were the Nephilim? Genesis 6:1-4 gives us our foundation. Now it came to pass that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward. When the sons of God came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. The Hebrew word translated giants here is Nephilim, often interpreted as fallen ones. These beings were the offspring of the sons of God, a term used elsewhere to describe divine or angelic beings, Job 1:6 and Job 38:7. These weren't simply tall people, they were hybrid offspring, the result of a supernatural rebellion. The book of Enoch expands on this, describing 200 angels called the Watchers, who descended and corrupted humanity, 2 Peter 2:4 and Jude 6. Though Enoch is not scripture, it is quoted in Jude 14-15 and aligns with what Peter and Jude say about angels who sinned and were cast into chains of darkness. So the Nephilim were giants, hybrids, mighty and feared, but are they gone? Did they survive the flood? Genesis 6:5-7 shows God's response to this corruption. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great, and the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So he sent the flood to wipe out not just sinful humans, but also the hybrid bloodline. And yet, there is this strange phrase in Genesis 6:4. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, the Bible confirms that Nephilim-like giants reappear after the flood. Og of Bashan, Deuteronomy 3:11, a giant whose bed was over 13 feet long. The Anakim and Rephaim described in Numbers and Joshua. Goliath, over 9 feet tall in 1 Samuel 17. So how did they return? Some traditions say a second incursion happened, that fallen angels again corrupted humanity. Others say Og survived the flood, citing midrashic stories that he clung to the ark and was fed by Noah through a trapdoor. While these accounts are not found in Scripture, they attempt to explain what Genesis already implies, that the giant problem continued. Where are they now? So what happened to the Nephilim? Are they still around? According to the book of Enoch and the book of Jubilees, when the Nephilim died, their spirits did not ascend to heaven. Instead, they became evil spirits on the earth, disembodied, restless, and violent. Enoch 15:8-9 says, "And now the giants, who are produced from the spirits and flesh, shall be called evil spirits upon the earth." This matches what Jesus and the New Testament call unclean spirits or demons. These spirits, born of rebellion and corruption, have no place in heaven or hell, so they wander and they still hate humanity. Could this be why demonic activity is so widespread in our world today? Why spiritual deception, violence, and perversion mirror the world before the flood? Ephesians 6:12 reminds us, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." If the Nephilim spirits are demons, then yes, they are among us, not as giants, but as invisible influencers, driving fear, deception, and rebellion against God. Giants, myths, and megaliths. Where did the memory of the Nephilim go? It never really disappeared, it just got mythologized. Nearly every ancient culture has legends of sky gods or divine beings mating with women and producing mighty offspring. Greek mythology, the Titans. Demigods like Hercules, Norse mythology, the Jotuns, Sumerian lore, Anunnaki, Native American, mound builders, and giant tribes. Irish myth Tuatha Dé Danann, later called the Sidhe, even the German word Hunnengrubber, tomb of giants, was used for ancient megalithic graves. Many of these myths may be distorted memories of the Nephilim. And what about the massive stone structures that modern engineering still cannot fully explain? Baalbek's stones, Cyclopean ruins in Peru, the mounds in North America, Göbekli Tepe, even the pre-flood references in Enoch to the Watchers teaching humans metalwork, magic, and astrology. Is it possible these structures are physical leftovers of Nephilim civilizations? We cannot say for sure, but the connections are hard to ignore. Why we stopped believing? So, why do most Christians today dismiss the Nephilim as myth, metaphor, or irrelevant? Because over the centuries, the church slowly shifted from a supernatural worldview to a rationalistic one. Rabbinic Judaism began demythologizing these beings, calling them nobles or kings. Early church fathers debated allegorical versus literal interpretations. The Enlightenment trained Western minds to reject anything supernatural. Seminaries now often avoid spiritual warfare entirely. But the Bible has never been silent about this realm. Jesus cast out demons. Paul warned of principalities. Revelation is filled with spiritual beings. We stopped believing, but the battle never stopped. What this means for today: the Nephilim may not walk the earth in physical form anymore, but their spirits, their ideology, and their rebellion are still here. When we see global deception, is it spiritual? When children are targeted with corruption, is it random? When humanity plays God with genetics, is it repeating the sin of Genesis 6? Jesus said in Matthew 24:37, "But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. The days of Noah were days of violence, corruption, and angelic rebellion. Those days are here again." Conclusion. The Nephilim are not just a weird footnote in biblical history. They are a warning. They show what happens when heaven's order is defied and humanity is corrupted. Whether their spirits roam the earth or their influence echoes through myths and ruins. One thing is clear: their war against God and His people continues. But so does our hope. 1 John 4:4. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. Stay grounded in Scripture. Stay awake to the spiritual war around you. And remember, giants may rise, but they will fall. Jesus is coming soon. If this video opened your eyes, take action. The Nephilim are not just ancient legends. They were part of a real spiritual war, and that war never ended. Like the video, if it challenged what you thought you knew, share it with someone who needs to see the Bible with new eyes. And subscribe, because this is only the beginning. We are living in prophetic days. What began in Genesis will be judged in Revelation. Stay watchful, stay grounded, and above all, stay faithful to Jesus Christ.